Whenever you survive a symptom, okay, so I'm not even gonna go there. Let me give you a little bit of background. Okay, so I started this protocol back in 2016, had a group in 2017. The recipe went from like 1 teaspoon of salt to 1 tablespoon of salt, 2 cups of water, 2 cups of loosely packed cabbage. And then you puree it, you put it in the blender and you puree it, and then you pour it into a jar and you let it sit there for like 3 days plus, indefinite. And so now you have all these minerals, you have all these bacteria, because yes, that's what lactic acid, lactobacillus. You have oxygen and water, electrolytes, trace minerals and fats and carbs and proteins and all that stuff. So that's in the protocol. So in the recipe, you have everything that's aligned with the human body. Okay, you have definitely the minerals and you have the electrolytes. And of course, everything else that I mentioned. So we have people that are coming into this protocol majorly malnourished. I was malnourished, dealing with symptoms, watching my body decay in front of my eyes. I didn't know at the time that my body was stealing resources from different parts of my body, and this is why I was suffering weaknesses and all sorts of stuff, hormonal imbalances. And so yeah, so I, when I was actually drinking the protocol, I was going through some healing symptoms because I was actually refilling my reserves and also healing the weaknesses and then having more reserves. Okay, so I had a lot of people that were going on the protocol. Some people were very old with many issues. Some people have obesity. Some people have cancer, disease, and chronic illness, history of heart conditions, history of strokes and aneurysms, history of a lot of stuff. So people coming on to this protocol have done everything in the allopathic holistic world, everything, and nothing has worked. It may give them a little bit of temporary relief from the pain or the healing, but really, truly, that's why they're in my group back in 2017, because nothing else worked for them. So they're doing the J juice, and they finally get minerals in their body. They were already set to have their weaknesses come to surface. The body is gonna, even when someone's off the J juice, okay, people have heart attacks. Why do they have heart attacks? Because there's a weakness, and then the body has to go and find the resources in the body to go and then fix that issue, so that way they survive the heart attack or survive a stroke. I mean, let me see where stroke comes from. Stroke comes from what system? Oh, okay, blocked blood flow. So it's a circulatory system. Okay, I kind of knew, but maybe I wanted to make sure. So a stroke comes from a circulatory system that has to go and find the minerals to go and patch up that issue, so you survive it. Why do people die from strokes? Because they are mineral depleted, nutrient depleted, oxygen, water, everything depleted. Okay, so when people die from strokes or heart attacks, there is no more resources left in their reserves to go steal from. And then that's why people die from natural causes. I say it like this because, yeah, it's natural, but that's what natural causes are, is the fact that you have no more reserves. It's done with. And so the woman that lived to tell about her stroke on Jilly Juice, because that's how she's characterized it, Jillian caused all these issues to her, it actually saved her life. Because what's in the Jilly Juice? It's the minerals. What's in the Jilly Juice? It's the minerals. It's the electrolytes. It's the carbs, fats, proteins, bacteria, viruses, water, oxygen. So the fact that she was able to survive the stroke that was going to happen anyways, because she already had issues. Because people have strokes all the time outside of Jilly Juice. It's not like Jilly Juice all of a sudden came on the market and everyone's having strokes now. If that were the case, I wouldn't be here. Okay? I've never had a stroke on Jilly Juice. You know why? Because I never had a condition or issues to where the minerals that came into that needed to, that needed to be there. I never had a weakness. Right, but it even goes more into that, Jana. This goes even more. I mean, I hear what you're saying, yes. But here's the thing, because I mean, people are like, oh, what's pain, what's healing, all that stuff. But what it is that the Jilly Juice has the minerals. So she was already going to go into, a stroke no matter what. It wasn't like Jilly Juice just caused it. No, it was already, I mean, it highlights and manifests, it energizes, things in the system. Okay. But she already had the weakness. But the fact that the body was able to heal, but not even able to heal, the fact that she had the mineral reserves and she lived, because when some people die from strokes all the time, you know why? Because they have no more minerals left. They don't have any nutrients, minerals left to help patch up that issue. So the fact that she brought in minerals from the J Juice, it saved her life, because she now had reserves. So the body can then go and patch up that issue so she can survive and live another day. It actually prolonged her life. Now, is she alive today? I have no idea. I haven't been following her. But that's the thing, is everything that people have when they're on the J Juice is already inevitable. It's already, thank you for that, at least for that comment. But everything that happens on J Juice, people already have the inevitability. It's already going to happen. It's already going to happen one day. But whether you survive your symptoms is based upon what resources are left in your body. When you don't survive your symptoms, you have depleted your resources. So when that Bruce Wilmot guy in hospice, he didn't die from Jilly Juice. Jilly Juice has given him resources that he was lacking. What he died from is the fact that he got off the Jilly Juice and went back into drinking his pineapple juice and drinking all of his other stuff and taking the drugs, which depleted his resources. So he had nothing else to work with. That's why he died. Jilly Juice would never hurt anybody or kill anybody, because you're bringing in electrolytes. You're bringing in everything that your body is lacking. Okay? Because yes, people die from strokes all the time. You know why? Because they're lacking the electrolytes, they're lacking their nutrients, they're lacking all the different minerals and all of that stuff. So symptoms is the body's, it's letting you know that it's taking the resources that you're giving it. Good morning, Kevin. And that you are also bringing in, and it's finally healing your body. It's an amazing, this is Mother Nature at its finest. This is Mother Nature at its finest. And so, yes, I saved the life of that lady. I saved her life, because she could have died that day if she hadn't done J Juice. She was rolling the dice. If she hadn't done J Juice, it would have happened already, and she could have died if she hadn't done J Juice. But the fact that she did do J Juice and she survived says that her body was able to utilize those minerals that she brought in with my juice, and it helped her survive that symptom that was going to happen anyways. Because remember, people have symptoms and strokes and heart attacks prior to J Juice, and not everybody survives them. How many women die of heart attacks? How many women have died, or how many people have had half paralysis from strokes? The fact that she wasn't even half paralyzed, she had a stroke, but she was able to go on to Dr. Phil and say what she had to say. She had the mental capacity. She had the coherency, which means that J Juice gave her the strength to blame J Juice in a bad way. And then what did Michelle say? Wow, life-changing, yet a lot of some things will never leave your mind. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, the fact that she's able to get onto Dr. Phil and blame J Juice for all of her ills, it means that the juice gave her life back that she didn't have before. She could have died if she hadn't done J Juice, because that was set to happen anyways. And who's to say she had enough reserves? Yeah, it gave her enough strength to play. But who's to say she had enough reserves to then give her another day? See, when people don't do J Juice and they already have malabsorption, they're rolling the dice every single day, especially if they're older. When you're older and you have soft bones and osteoporosis and your skin's like, you know, wrinkling up and your body is just so thin and you're degrading, but yet you're very coherent, because I'm telling you, I've talked to people where I know their body is degrading, but their mind is sharp as a freaking tack. You know why? Because the body has now been able to keep the mind going and the heart going and the liver going and the kidneys going, but everything else is decaying. And so at some point, that any person that doesn't bring in the right elements to really heal the body, like the J Juice, they're rolling the dice, because you don't know if that heart attack, if you're going to survive it, if you're going to have enough resources. So now you can actually predict. Now you can actually predict. Like, so I don't have to really be fearful as far as my husband, because he has enough minerals in his bones. I'm telling you, my husband has some major hard ass bones. That's why I said I'm so thankful that my husband was raised in Ohio, to where he has great genetics. Because I'm telling you, you know, when even when I just like press up against his knee, it hurts. He has the hardest bones ever. And then you guys know people that have soft bones. Okay? And people have soft bones, they don't have a lot of minerals. They have deficiencies in their skeletal system. Okay? And so when a person gets older, they lose those minerals because they're not absorbing the nutrition at the level that they should. And so the body is constantly stealing resources, constantly. And then it weakens every single system and eventually weakens your vital organs where they shut down. So the fact that the lady was able, you know, on Dr. Phil, was able to get on there and say what she had to say is a testament to the juice. She had the strength to get on national TV. J Juice gave her the strength to get on national TV and play the game. I gave her that ability. Yeah, it's a trip. I mean, it really is. It's just, it boggles the freaking mind. It really does. So this is why you guys got to do the J Juice now more than ever. For those of you that are older, that have major cancer disease and chronic illness, because I'm telling you, when you go through chemotherapy or cannabis and all of that, and you're causing all of this biochemical triage, you're seeing people aging as quick as they can say boo from the cannabis, from the chemotherapy, from all the different detoxes. Right, Kevin. People break their hips. People, yeah, and so you have to get off all those things that are robbing you of nutrition, because you're creating mini emergencies in your body that you don't even know. You only know about these emergencies is when you see a symptom. And that means you survived those emergencies in your body. When you have an actual symptom, you survived what could have potentially caused your death. The fact that you guys feel symptoms says that your body's working the way it's supposed to. However, it only has so many resources until you actually bring in more. But it's not even just bringing in more resources. It's fixing the assembly line. It's fixing all of the appliances in your body to be able to allow you to absorb. If you have a conveyor belt that is completely like broken in a factory assembly line type of thing, you're not going to have the outcome, the right, you know, the widgets that you're trying to project so the company can make money. So you're bringing in resources, vital resources that your body can't process. You're basically starving yourself. It's a trip. So I'm serious, you guys, watch the vegans and vegetarians in different groups, like Raw Food for Wild Riot or something. There's people in that group that are completely starving themselves. And they're working out. And so the body is constantly trying to get resources. And I'm telling you, they're skinnier and skinnier. And all you see is their muscular system. Having muscles and no fat and hardly any skin, it's like watching Shoah or something, or some kind of concentration camp victim. It's pretty a trip. I'm telling you, it's a trip to watch. When people do the J juice, they get their skin back, they get their collagen back, they get their muscle tone back, they get so many things back that was missing because the body was constantly trying to triage the many emergencies that they weren't even aware of. The only thing they knew about was all the different cancer, disease, and chronic illness that they had to deal with. But that's the body trying to survive, you know, your malfunctions and survive the environment. Okay? But yeah, like seriously, guys, Facebook is a huge data source. Once you understand really how all this works, Facebook, it will be a data source to confirm everything that I'm saying. Everything. Even people who are obese are starving because they have imbalances in their hormones that's causing them, you know, to create more cortisol, create more fat, water retention. And it's the way, you know, and it's a survival mechanism of that body. Eventually, you know, the body's going to give out. When a person is so obese that they now, the body's trying to steal resources, and there's, of course, there's hormonal imbalances. People die from heart attacks that are obese. Diabetes. I'm telling you guys, one of the biggest killers of women is heart attacks. Especially if they are getting older and they have mineral deficiencies and depletions. And no, taking supplements and taking all those things is not going to help you if you don't have the digestive system to be able to absorb it and put it in its proper place. Because people have minerals in their shit, but you think the body is going to take from the shit and then fix all your issues? If that were the case, everyone that's full of shit would be wonderful living forever. No, when things are in your shit tank, it's not being dispersed correctly because that's the body's waste. So you're not processing your environment correctly. So all the good resources that you should be getting is stuck in your colon, not going to the proper places because you're not supposed to absorb the waste material. Okay, so there's a specific boundary that's thicker in your intestines than there is in other places because you're not supposed to, you know, because if you had a very thin membrane in your colon and in your intestines, then all the waste material will be leaking into other parts of your body, causing sepsis and infection and all that stuff. So, you know, when you're taking in minerals that you can't absorb, it goes right into your shit tank and it stays there and it festers. And then guess what feeds off it? Parasites. But you need a certain amount of parasites. But you have too many, they eat you out from the inside. Thank you, Michelle. So it finally took, what, 3 years later where I can actually say and switch all of Dr. Phil's BS all around on him? I saved her life. She should actually thank me, actually. But I'm sure she won't be doing the J juice, and then she'll go back into her usual routine, and then she'll die, and that'll be the end of that. But it is what it is. But people need to understand what actually happened. And it took me 2 years to be able to come up with that. Because I was on Dr. Phil in 2018, and now we're heading towards the end of 2019. Wow. Yeah, this is mind-boggling, you guys. Okay? So anytime you survive any symptom, it means that you had enough mineral reserves to get you through another day to take care of those weaknesses. But here's the thing. When you have a heart attack, okay, it's not like you had a tiny little weakness and you had a heart attack. If that were to happen, then, you know, everybody that would have a tiny weakness would have heart attacks. No, when you actually have a heart attack or a stroke, there are a lot of factors that led up to that. A lot of factors. You have to get to the point of being that bad. That weakness has to be that bad for a person to sustain a heart attack and either live from it or die from it. If you live through a heart attack, it means you had enough resources. If you die from a heart attack, you already had so many factors that followed up to that, that there's no more resources. So this is why symptoms are the body's dashboard to let you know, you're really running low on reserves. You really need to start fixing something so we can keep replenishing your reserves because you're pretty much done with. That's what symptoms are. It's the body's idiot lights that people freaking ignore. Okay? Because no, if we all had tiny little weaknesses, we'd all be having heart attacks and strokes and living through it. No, but that's not how the body works. There's many specific factors that follow up to a major event. It's not just one factor, it's not just two factors. There's so many factors that contribute to a major event like a heart attack. I've never had a heart attack or a stroke, ever. I've never had a weakness. I had enough reserves in my body, okay, that if I had any potential weaknesses through any kind of, it would fix it and bring me back to homeostasis. But what I saw was breaking down was my hormones and my reproductive system. For some reason, I had a major weakness in my reproductive system, major. And then I was getting symptoms from that. And that was the body's dashboard. Let me know you got issues down there. And then, yes, then actually when I started doing the J juice and I see, that what could have been a lymphoma, that rash that kept weeping and weeping. And that was from way back when I was a kid. And then certain skin conditions came up that are now totally done with and disappeared. And so I know my reproductive system has gone through a lot of hell from when I first came on here. And why is there a sad face on here? What the hell? You guys with your sad faces, you're done with. But yeah, I mean, I went through a lot of hell, and then I finally strengthened my reproductive system. Okay. Michelle, don't be sad facing. Don't be sad facing. Make it, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt because you haven't really been, maybe you have followed, I don't know. But change the sad face, change it to a like or a love. Because this is good information. This is nothing to be sad about, okay? But I understand where you're coming from because it's like, wow, wow. People are crazy, but that's okay because this is a point of education. It's a point of education. All this is education. And you drop seeds, and some people will get it, some people won't, and that's okay. Okay? And you just kind of just take it for what it is, and you just keep hoping that the seeds will get germinated, and then finally some kind of like aha will grow. Okay? So it's okay. I mean, I'm strong enough to deal with the backlash of putting out a new idea. I'm strong enough because I've been doing the J juice. I've replenished my reserves, reversed all my issues, and I'm committed to not only myself, but to the human race. Why I'm committed? Because I'm trying to save myself. You know how much shit I had to deal with even prior to J juice? When you deal with hormonal imbalances and you're trying to make it in this world and try to make it in this life, and you're trying to live up to expectations and things and families and and the world just wants to that's a lot of crap. So essentially me saving myself is going to save all of you. Okay? Not that I'm, thinking that I have an expectation that you're all going to be saved by J juice. But at least the information will give you the opportunity to research it and then consider it. So that's why I keep saying pain is healing. But what does that actually mean? Because people think, oh yeah, she's just a cult leader that's saying, okay, instead of pain is hurting, pain is healing. So as above, so below, blah, blah, blah. No, but there's actually a reasoning behind it. Symptoms are your body's dashboard letting you know that it's pulling from reserves But at some point, just like in that, the light on your gas tank, it says, okay, we're going to pull from the reserve tank, but if you keep going another 50 miles, you're going to have a dead stop. Your car is not going to go any further. That's what symptoms are. Symptoms is basically the gas light coming on and flashing on. Okay? That's what symptoms are. And so you only have so much time before something happens. And then when you see people's hair go white, the minerals are being leached out from there to fix something in here. You see the skin go sallow. You see, you know, other issues that go on. The body is trying to go and shift resources and play in triage. And you don't even know it. The only thing that you know about is that you have these major symptoms, but you just can't figure out what they are or why it's happening. Well, I'm telling you why it's happening. Symptoms, I keep saying symptoms are the dashboard, but now we've actually even articulated even more. Okay? And I'm thinking like, oh, when you think you're done, they're not done. I mean, like, am I finally done with all this research? And I'm thinking like, da-da-da, so what's next? And how do I da-da-da? And oh my God, it's like, no, I think, am I done now? I can't even say that I'm done research. I can't even say that. And poor Kevin, you know, he's amazing though, you know, because he's keeping up. He's keeping up like that. And thank freaking God, because he has the talent to really put this together. And then we'll collaborate and make sure that it's the way in which we want. But yeah, but your symptoms is that, you know, the body's going into reserves. And if you're not bringing in the nutrition and fixing, oh, I got to get this. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Ah, shit. Hey, honey, how are you? Are you doing okay? I'm on Facebook Live. That's okay. Is everything okay? What? But did you talk to that person? And everything's good. Okay. All right. Oh. Okay. Bye. Okay. Sorry. I had to get that. So yeah. So when you're the symptoms is letting you know that the body's on reserves for specific things. So when you see people's hair and skin go sallow and you start seeing the decay in the body, it means the body's pulling resources to keep your brain going, to keep your heart going, to keep your liver going, to keep your kidneys going. Okay? And then when you have no more reserves left, guess what? There's going to be major organ shutdown. Okay? Oh my God. You guys are fucking amazing. You guys are so amazing. I just want to hug you all. I just want to hug all of you. And I want to hug Kevin like you just don't even understand, in such a brotherly, sisterly way. I want to hug all of you because this is probably the biggest revelation ever. This really clinches it. This really does. Because this is how we're going to understand what symptoms are. But it's not just bringing in minerals and supplements when you have a fucked up assembly line. Okay, when you have a messed up absorption process, there's no way you're going to be able to negotiate and reconcile all of those minerals that your body needs, or the nutrients. That's why J juice is so important. And so, you know, I mean, Kevin saw my weakness a couple days, like yesterday, the day before, because I'm just like, you know, and maybe through all of that stuff and then some of the drama yesterday with crazy people, okay, it helped me out a little bit. And it brought me to this next level. Because I'm telling you, stress is okay in very small doses because it gets you to the next level. And there was no dreams that happened. There was nothing to foretell that I was going to even have this type of revelation. It wasn't like I got up at 4 a.m. going like, oh my God, I have this revelation. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. No, it was like, aha. And it was from that young lady that I was responding to that is going to Akron Pre-Med, University of Akron for Pre-Med. I owe her everything. I don't owe her everything, but I owe her a lot yesterday. And then me and Kevin were just tossing this back and forth like tennis. Bam, 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 bam. And you guys watched it. You guys were able to experience it. And it was like music. It's like poetry in motion. Poetry in freaking motion. Okay? So I'm going to have, yeah. Drama with the parasite crazy people. But from that drama, Jennifer, from that drama came something beautiful. So all that pressure of having to explain myself again or defend or whatever created a diamond of a revelation. So symptoms is your body letting you know that you're hitting the reserve tank. And even though, yeah, in a car you can go 60 miles, maybe in a human's life you can go 20 years living on the reserve tank, but now it relative to your lifestyle, that reserve tank could be actually diminishing faster. So that's why it's hard to predict how long someone's going to live when they don't do J-juice, but then you can kind of see the indicators. You see what they look like. Okay? So these are things to recognize in yourself as well as people around you. When you see they're mineral deficient, malnourished, nutrient deficient, they're either very, very obese or they are so skinny. So skinny because the body is pulling reserves, trying to keep you alive, and maybe the obesity is a defense mechanism and to keep them alive for a certain amount of time. And you have every opportunity to change your biochemistry, but people don't, and that's why the heart attacks, people die from heart attacks. So it makes you wonder what kind of symptoms and diseases people get from obesity. Then you can see what pressure is being put on what organ. Let me go look at that. Hold on. This is so fascinating. Oh my God. Okay. What diseases come from obesity? I mean, we know that diabetes, heart disease and stroke, high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, gallbladder disease and gallstones, osteoarthritis, gout, breathing problems such as sleep apnea, when a person stops breathing for a short time during sleep, and asthma. Okay? So when you have obesity, the body is pulling from resources to fix the weaknesses in your heart, in your circulatory system. You start getting the endocrine system causing issues. That's diabetes. And you have cancer, which is then the virus programming going after the weaknesses in your body. You have gallbladder disease. Your gallbladders have issues with the gallstones. Then you have osteoarthritis, which means that the minerals are being leached from your bones to keep your heart going. Okay, to keep your lungs going. But then, of course, here's the thing. Then you have like the gout. So you have now you have a lot of uric acid in your body. And then breathing problems. So that's your lungs. So the body's now pulling resources to keep your lungs going. Okay. I mean, it's a mess when somebody is obese. These are all the issues because the body's pulling resources from different things. And then they have all these symptoms. And so they're able to survive. But for how long? Well, time will only tell. But it's not about parasites and worms. It's not even about that, Jennifer. It's not about parasites. Forget the parasites. Forget that, okay? And not aspartame either, Jennifer. Get off all of your holistic conspiracy theory stuff. Just get off that for a minute, Jennifer. This is about mineral and nutrient depletion based upon an imbalance in the system. And you cannot say that parasites are the only thing because you need a certain amount of parasites. It's the fact that you're not able to reconcile and negotiate the minerals in the food supply because you have weaknesses. And then what happens is when you have weaknesses, the body pulls resources, okay? And it further weakens the body. So this is why somebody gets white hair, okay? This is why people get white hair because the body is taking the minerals from the hair and putting it towards the heart to keep the vital organs. What are vital organs? The brain, the heart, the lungs, the liver. Parasites are not bad because they are symbiotic, but too many, all right, obviously have an imbalance. fungus isn't bad, but too much fungus causes an imbalance. You could be over mineralized, but it not going to the right places. You could be actually holding minerals in your shit tank, but it's not being dispersed to the right places because you have imbalances and you have issues that are not being taken care of by the right chemical process. Okay? And so when somebody is obese, it's because it's the body's defense mechanisms to keep them alive. So that's why they have all these symptoms. Those symptoms are actually keeping them alive. Their heart disease and stroke has kept them alive. It means they pulled resources from different places to repair the situation. But there's already so many factors that led up to their heart disease and stroke. The high blood pressure is the body's way of now pumping more at a faster rate because they know that they're on a death trajectory, and that is the way it's able to keep the person alive, is to pump the heart faster, pump the blood faster. Then the diabetes. Okay, the body's now trying to figure out how to deal with the endocrine system. The endocrine system is trying to pull resources. And sometimes it doesn't have enough resources. So then they have either, not enough insulin or too much insulin or too much sugar, not enough sugar, that type of thing, okay? And then you have cancer. And so all these different symptoms is the body pulling reserves and maybe pulling too many reserves. So now you have all these minerals in your gallbladder. And it's just a mess. But the fact they have these symptoms and they're still alive means that those symptoms are saving their life until they deplete the resources. Okay? So aspartame actually is good, just so you know. Just actually, parasites are not that bad. Actually, they're good. Aspartame is just another name for minerals on the periodic tables. So when people demonize aspartame, they don't get it that when you actually break aspartame down to an elemental composition, all it is just minerals. Your body needs trace minerals. So that's why I got away from the holistic allopathic demonization conspiracy world, because people are demonizing minerals when they shouldn't. They have to understand that their body has malfunctions. It's not absorbing the minerals to then take those minerals that they're bringing in and disperse it correctly. And so what happens is that now the body is pulling from the reserves and it's depleting them. So even people who eat very well are starving because they're not processing those minerals correctly. Okay, so Jennifer, hopefully this is a bit of an insight, because you don't follow me a lot. I know you like what I'm doing as far as the J juice, but you haven't really been following the thought process very closely. But you have to follow the thought process closely, because then you get off of the activism. Because activism and demonizing anything, whether a person or an element, robs you of your minerals and of your nutrition. And then guess what? It causes stress. And then it causes stress in your family. Your kids pick up on it and they're all stressed out. And then it gets passed down the genetic line. It doesn't matter. It's fine. People utilize things. It doesn't matter. Anything can be taken. Just so you know, Jennifer, anything can be taken. Just like chemotherapy, to have a specific outcome doesn't mean that it's bad in of itself. I can actually take aspartame and it won't hurt me. You know why? Because I know how to keep my system moving to negotiate those minerals. But if somebody has an imbalance or a stagnation or an issue with their body, and then they apply aspartame with a specific outcome, yes, that's the outcome. But do you know what the state of that cow's system is in? It means, they're there just sitting, waiting for people to milk them. And so they apply a chemical formula to then fatten them up. Whatever. But when you do the J juice and you take aspartame, guess what? It's just another freaking mineral that your body's going to process and absorb what it needs and release the excess. So don't bring in things that aren't really relevant to this conversation. Because you can take any conglomeration of elements, and put them all together to have an outcome. But you can also, in moderation, as on a well-balanced body, yes, aspartame is not going to hurt you. Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Every mineral taken out of proportion has the ability to kill you. Absolutely. So no, I mean, aspartame won't affect me any more than drinking the Jilly juice. I mean, seriously, that's why you have to understand chemistry. People that live in fear of elements of salt and aspartame and mercury and all this other stuff, they don't understand that it's fucking chemistry. Chemical reaction. You have to understand biochemistry and chemistry. If you don't even understand biochemistry and chemistry, guess what? You live in reaction mode, and then you deplete resources. And then you also then pass on that fear and that demonization and the discrimination onto children. This is where it really, really resonates. Where it hits home is when you have a specific perception of the world, kids pick up on that, and guess what we're creating? Children who are fearful of their environment. And they will have a very, very shortened lifespan trying to live in a bubble. And they're scared of everything. They're scared of their government. They're scared of the food supply. They're scared of the air. They're scared of the earth. They're scared of everything. And that's no way to live. And that's no way to set up your child to be successful in this life. To be completely scared of your environment instead of learning how chemistry and biochemistry works. I don't have a degree in it, but guess what? I study it on my own. And then I apply logic. I apply common sense, and I got my emotions well balanced. And then I ask questions to Google. Okay? I already have a theory in mind, and I use Google to substantiate it, because it'll get substantiated in other contexts. So how I figured out the thing with the vital organs and the whole thing with the minerals and why people get strokes and why people survive strokes or why they're half paralyzed. And then we realize, yeah, the body has a priority. What are vital organs? Your brain, your heart, your lungs, your liver, your kidneys. And so when somebody is half paralyzed, it means that the body was stealing resources to take care of your circulatory system, but you already have a depletion in some parts of your muscular system and your nervous system. So that's why half of your body is paralyzed, because it needed to make sure that your brain and your heart and whatever else is taken care of. And so that's why you see the gradual degradation in some people who are lacking in their reserves. Or when someone dies, they have no more reserves left. So aspartame could actually save a person's life. When you think about it, on one end of the spectrum, it can cause somebody harm. On the other end of the spectrum, it could save somebody's life. It depends where you are on the spectrum. That's what you have to understand. As above, so below. Anything that we love could also be something that could be hated. Too much of any one thing will cause imbalance. It's called balance, babies. That's what it's called. And you have to understand that the body has intelligence. It knows how to keep the balance, but you have to give it what it needs. You have to understand what it needs too. And we figured it out. All of us did. Even through all your conspiracies, Jennifer, and through all of Kevin's spiritual healing and all of his stuff, and then through Bridget's stuff and through Lillian's stuff and through every single troll that I've ever come across. We figured this out as a community. This is the true peer review, not in academia. They just, they have a specific agenda, but they also do real pure science. It's not always agenda driven in academia or biotech. Sometimes it is. It depends upon what they're trying to do these experiments for. But the evidence has already been substantiated in different contexts. Okay, so when you have a spectrum of what somebody brings to the table and you have no idea how much they're lacking and how much they have too much of, aspartame and mercury and those things could actually save somebody's life. But then you have the anti-vaxxers and all these different interest groups that are just like freaking out over barium in the atmosphere or nitrogen in the atmosphere. And I'm like, oh my God, to fear everything is just so taxing. So we had to hammer this out. We really did. We had to hammer this out. So I saved that woman's life because she could have died if she hadn't done J-Juice, because her stroke was inevitable. She was going to have it even if she didn't have the J-Juice. But the fact that she lived says that the minerals that we gave her through the J-Juice gave her another day to get on freaking Dr. Phil and play that game. She could have died if she hadn't done J-Juice. So actuality, I saved her life because J-Juice was a factor. The minerals saved her ass. That's pretty profound when you think about it. I'm glad you lost a lot of fear. Now you just got to get off the activism train. Just do the J-Juice. Don't worry about the aspartame. Because here's the thing. With the J-Juice, you're going to be in discrimination mode in the beginning because you have imbalances, Jennifer. Obviously, a lot of imbalances. And so you have to really stick to the protocol. And then once you start seeing, mental clarity and and some of the fear, of course, and then all the fear disappears, and you start seeing the changes in your biochemistry, and you're seeing whatever issue you came in with is being reversed and dealt with, then, you can have aspartame. You can go get a vaccine. It's not going to affect you in any major way. Okay? You can go, you can eat whatever you want. Everything that you're railing against as far as in the food world, it won't be an issue. As long as FDA approved, it's fine. You're not going to go into an automotive store and drink solvent because it's not FDA approved. If it's FDA approved, it's perfectly fine based upon the intention. Okay? So then you can actually eat chips. You can eat cookies. Oh my God, but not in the beginning of J-Juice because you have an imbalance of candida and sugar stuff and all that. And that's why the diet is so the way it is because people are coming in with imbalances. But you have to see specific measurable results before you introduce foods back in your diet. So, woohoo! Oh my Lordy. Okay, I'm gonna go talk to my husband, but you guys have a great day. Love you all. Bye.